Hey, and welcome into the Big Ten Huddle, where we talk every Big Ten football team. I'm JR, and in this episode, we will be reacting to Week 1 and all the madness from Northwestern getting pummeled by a G5 team to Ohio State dashing Paul Finebaum's hopes and dreams. And we're here to talk through it all. And here with me is the guy who he called it this week. Give him his props. He got Florida State on the upset over Alabama correct. It's the one, the only, the Zach Guggenheim.
Oh, the Zach Guggenheim. Wow.
You deserve it.
We're going with
pick.
the third person. I actually want to know what's more impressive. The fact that I called my shot very, very confidently, by the way, not really. Is that more impressive, or is it more impressive that Kent State beat Merrimack this past week and is 1-0?
Yeah, this weekend my sister, I think I've talked about this before. My sister went to Kent State, and my parents were asking, so is Kent State any good at football, John? They won. They won, and I said, well, they beat. I don't even know if they're FCS. Are they a division? No, I think they're FCS. But yeah, they beat an FCS team by like 4. So,
are we sure they're not another version of Bishop Sycamore?
They could be that. I mean, I've seen them play in basketball, and they're not that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're not invisible.
No, they're not invisible. At least not yet. So, Philip says time for Zach week 2 suspension.
Why am I getting suspended?
Well, remember you have to choose your suspension. So
I chose my suspension. It was when I went to Disney. That's when I was suspended, or when I went somewhere to the beach. That was my suspension. Just like that Sharon Moore's.
Not a bad suspension. Okay. Oh, that's not the comment from Max. There it is. He says, so Max had his comment deleted earlier for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he said, congrats, Zach, on your Kent State win. You've got to be on cloud 9 right now. Hopefully this brings us 1 week closer to Paul Finebaum leaving the country. Well, Zach, let's go ahead and update the tracker here. We got to bring that down. We are, oh no, crap. Hold on. Don't update the tracker. I didn't upload it yet. I had the old one in there, and I thought it was the new one.
That took me back to when we did our draft. I was trying to pick somebody. Oh crap!
Oh crap! Zach. Oh. Crap.
So while you're getting that updated, I was watching Florida State, Alabama, talking about that game.
Yeah.
And I feel for it. I feel bad in some ways because my aunt is a huge Tide fan. So we talk football a lot. And so I feel bad for what I'm about to say, but this is just me not being subjective, but trying to be as objective as possible. Oh, sorry. I'll pause that.
Paul Finebaum.
I'll pause that comment for a minute.
We got week 1 right there. He's moving on, and we haven't crossed Northwestern out yet. Northwestern can still make the playoff with 1 loss, right, Zach?
Technically, yeah. Sure. I think we should.
We'll give him a little bit more time. Okay. Northwestern, you've not been kicked out yet. Don't worry.
We'll give him till next week.
Yeah, maybe next week. But yeah, we are 1 week in, 1 step closer to Paul Finebaum leaving the country. All right. Sorry, Zach. Go ahead. Continue with your story.
Well, I was just going to say, watching that game, and I think a lot of other people are on this too, like Alabama is not Alabama anymore. And I think you had alluded to that a lot with Kalen DeBoer, and I think like I was starting to get on that train. But I mean, it's just so clear. They're bad. Like Florida State's not a great team this year. I picked them because I thought, oh, maybe home environment. Castellanos is like, he's crafty, 5 senior offensive linemen. I was like, maybe they can do it at week 1. That wasn't like a week 1, like, oh, we screwed up a couple things. They got bullied by a team that had lesser talent. Like that team has culture issues. And I don't
trying to. I mean,
effort was terrible. They were getting bullied off the ball. This is, if they don't get it together, like I think Kalen DeBoer could be fired this year.
Yeah, no, I would not be surprised at all if they go 7-5 this year.
And that's with that schedule. By the way, LSU, they are good.
Don't make me say it, Zach. I don't want to say that.
I don't either, but I mean, I don't want to say it, but they looked legit last night.
Yeah.
My goodness, they looked legit. Except, there's certainly, I wouldn't say the coaching's elite, but from a talent perspective, they might be the team to beat in the SEC.
Yeah, they fixed their defensive issues, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm a little skeptical on LSU. I'm going to give them their props in my top 25. They're going to be in the top 5 for me because I'm going to give them their props, but I'm still a little skeptical on them. So we'll see, though. I'm not going to.
It's week 1. It's week 1.
I'm not going to bash them, but we got Jim here. PSU Jim says, hey, guys, God's favorite sport is back, and God's favorite team is playing tonight, Notre Dame. So, double whammy. Oh, holy cow. What a freaking catch.
Somebody's watching the Notre Dame Miami game
am,
right
and that
now.
Miami, 12 seconds left in the half, that dude just went up and did an Odell Beckham type of catch. That was insane. Okay.
Wow.
But we should probably get on with the show instead
Spoiler
of that. John says Moneyline Mateer debut versus a Power 4 opponent. The Venmo payment is now loading.
Nice.
I hope Mateer just gets off Venmo. You don't need that in your life, man. Just get off Venmo.
Yep.
Mike says Minnesota's coming. Drake looked legit. Darius was his usual self. But most importantly, Jalen Smith is the next great Gopher wide receiver. Javon Tracy with some nice grabs in that game as well.
We'll talk about Minnesota. I think we both have takeaways from Minnesota. There's that score is very misleading. That 23-10 score is very misleading.
Yeah, that's why I had Minnesota above other teams in my power rankings, because it's if you watch the game, it was an impressive win for Minnesota, no doubt.
Yeah.
John's back. Good evening, gents. Good evening, John. Thanks for
Hello,
being
John.
here. Appreciate you. And yes, Max, thank you. Make sure you hit the like button. Please do that. HJG says DeBoer should have kept Saban's desk. Yeah, he should have kept any of the Saban magic around that he possibly could. So. Fisherman says DeBoer is what people thought Day was.
Ooh.
I mean, this is what I said all the time. I said, go back and look at legendary coaches leaving programs. How many coaches keep the program at a similar level or improve it?
Yeah. By the way, how good of a decision was it for Dan Lanning to stay at Oregon? Top tier decision.
Well, that and also the Big Ten's better. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Dave with the super chat, $10. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Dave.
For the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. He says, since we're bringing up MAC football, how about Coach Drink from Central Michigan getting his first win, or Coach Drink from Michigan getting his first win in Division I football, beat San Jose State. Hey, love it for Coach Drink and Central Michigan. Listen, they got rid of the dude that brought Stallions in, or he allegedly didn't bring Stallions in. I don't know what happened to that whole story, but, good for Central Michigan. Good for Coach Drink. First Division I win. Gotta love it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Gotta love it.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Philip says, could Wisconsin beat Alabama? Yeah.
It's more likely than it was, before we saw them, but Wisconsin has their own issues, man.
Well, yeah, they have their own issues. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. Although a
team that was 2-10 last year just beat Alabama.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing with that is that Wisconsin is on the road. If Wisconsin was at home this year, I'd like the chances better.
Yeah. There is good news with Billy Edwards, though. I think the MRI came back clean, so on his knee. So I don't think he's out. I don't know how long he'll be out, but it does seem like it was not a ACL tear, which is, I think, what a lot of people feared.
Yeah, and Fishman's right. The left tackle, he's a huge issue too. They lost, what was it, Hayward in the spring, and that's just been killing them. Yeah. That left tackle for Wisconsin. I mean, he's getting beat by who did they play? Who did Wisconsin play? I almost just said
Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio.
Thank you. I'm getting mixed up with all the MAC schools now. So, all right, let's get into this, Zach. So, Zach and I have compiled our takeaways from week 1. We have 5 each. We are going to give you our takeaways, and then Zach and I are going to kind of talk about them just a little bit because we have 10 of them, so we only have so much time. And then we will let you know if we think it's an overreaction, too much hype, if we think it's too much panic, that kind of stuff, and we'll kind of go from there. So, I'll go first. Zach, Ohio State is the new king of college football, in my opinion. Ohio State has now defeated 6 straight top 5 AP poll teams that they've played. They are the defending national champions. Ryan Day just outcoached Steve Sarkisian. They won by not having to get the most yards. They won by not having to have the most flash and everything. They went out there. They played super solid defense. Ryan Day lost both coordinators. He lost Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles, 2 of the best coordinators in college football last year, and he came back and responded with Matt Patricia and elevating Brian Hartline. Listen, I know a lot of Ohio State fans were like, "Oh, it's too conservative," and this, that, and the other. What Brian Hartline did as a play caller was so impressive, especially when you think about how he's coming in and what he came in to do. The temptation for Brian Hartline would have been to come in and throw the ball over the field and this, that, and the other, but he did not do that. He played a conservative game plan. He leaned on his defense. He didn't want to make the offense the stars of the show. He knows that's coming later on in the season. And honestly, I think they were too conservative. Yes, because I think that Julian Sayin could have handled more. Julian Sayin was the more composed. He was the better. He was the more accurate quarterback between him and Arch Manning. And I know people are giving Arch Manning a lot of crap. And don't get me wrong, I was giving Arch Manning crap too. But if you look at that defense and what they were throwing at Arch Manning, you listen to Steve Sarkisian talk about it after the game and other people talk about it. What they were doing to Arch Manning was slowing him down back there every single snap. Now, they were not getting the pass rush on him. That definitely needs to improve for Ohio State. They need to start getting better pass rush. But they absolutely destroyed Texas in that game with their defense. They had more goal line stands. Texas was 1 for 5 on 4th downs. It was situational football, and in the biggest situations, Ohio State came out on top. Alabama's dead. Georgia hasn't won a playoff game in the past 2 years. They just slayed Texas twice in a row on Texas's schedule. Ohio State's the new king of college football, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
When you say they are the new king, do you mean like they're going to go on a dynastic run, or that they're the best team this year, or like they're just, as of right now, they are the team to beat?
Just like like how Nick Saban always had Alabama as the king of college football. Even when they weren't number 1, people still feared Alabama in incredible ways because they knew of Nick Saban, they knew of that program, they knew what they brought. I think Ryan Day and Ohio State is on that level, or just not on that same level as Alabama, obviously. Alabama had a dynasty going. But in terms of the number 1 team that other teams are going to fear and other teams are going to respect every single time they play them, obviously, Michigan fans won't because that's a rivalry. That's what you do in a rivalry, or at least what you should do in a rivalry. But top program in the country, in my opinion, I don't think there's any argument otherwise.
So I will take issue. I think you are mostly right. Mostly right. But I'll tell you where I think maybe I'm not ready to concede that yet. One is the recruiting trail has not looked as good as you would want it to as defending national champions. I also would say that I want to see how they progress moving forward, because I think if LSU went into Columbus, I think LSU might beat Ohio State. But the reason, hold on, experienced quarterback with better weapons, because those Texas receivers were not good. That was the other problem. They did not have good receivers. LSU does. I think the experience factor would have really mattered with Nussmeier, because I think he could have countered some of the NFL level defensive shifts with shifts of his own. I think he could have countered probably better. I'm not saying they definitely would have. I'm just not. I think this game, what this revealed was Matt Patricia was the right hire, and that coaching staff is elite. And I think they certainly can be the king. I just don't. I think this game, the real tell of the game is you had two inexperienced quarterbacks who I think both are going to be very good. One didn't handle the pressure and the other one did. And part of the reason why Arch didn't handle the pressure is because Matt Patricia is elite. He was fantastic. So, but I'm not ready to anoint yet. That's just me. I'm not ready to anoint. But if they progress like I think they will be.
I don't think that being kings of college football means you're guaranteed to beat every single team in college football. Because
you're talking about the fear factor?
Yeah, it's the fear factor. This is the best program in the country. We know this program is elite, what they do with their players year in and year out. Because if Ohio State came out there and laid an egg against Texas, it'd have been like, okay, well, they loaded up all their players and they lost them. Now they're back to square one. Top tier team in the Big Ten, but not the best team in the country. That didn't happen. They brought back, they had 14 players drafted. They brought back, so few players on defense, and that defense still went out there with a former NFL defensive coordinator, and they ran that scheme to perfection. I mean, that is dedication from the players. That is just intelligence. That is so much stuff. That is great coaching. That is having your team prepared. There is so much that goes into that. I am just so massively impressed. And honestly, I'm impressed by Texas too. Texas is a very well-run program. I give Sark a hard time for some stuff, but that is a very well-run program. There was no chippiness in that game. Both of those teams treated themselves like professionals. Both of those teams came into that stadium and they fought hard, and they did their absolute best. Honestly, I mean, you didn't see Alabama out there, or you didn't see a team like Alabama out there, dogging it or anything like that. You saw two teams. I think you saw the two best teams in college football, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. Both of these teams, I think the exciting thing about both these teams, and I tweeted this out, the versions we get of them in November are going to be vastly different because of how much youth. This is my main concern for Ohio State. And I don't think it's insignificant, is I thought the defensive line played good, but I don't think they played great. And I want to see, like, they really did need blitzes at time, like for pass rush. But I'll say Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, my gosh, that they might be the best linebacking duo in the country. They're freaks, man. Arvell Reese in particular, like we know Sonny Styles is legit, but Arvell Reese is like. He might make them the kings of college football by himself, man. Him and then Caleb Downs is just.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you have Arvell Reese waiting in the wings there, right behind Cody Simon, who was an NFL player last year, I mean, Arvell Reese is arguably better. I mean, we'll see how the season goes. You can't base it off one game, but he's arguably going to be better than Cody Simon. I mean, you just got better players waiting behind NFL type of players. Like, it's insane. Steely Matt reposting the stream. Thank you for doing that, Steely Matt. We always appreciate it, and you are always so good with doing that. Casual Big Ten Kent, thanks for being here. He says, I think you're right. Kings for sure. They will beat Michigan this year, parentheses, I think. But if they don't, that's the only thing keeping them from being king of kings. That's a great point. They have to beat Michigan. You got to win your rivalries.
I think that's because there's one team that does not fear Ohio State, that doesn't fear Ohio State, and that is Michigan. You can't be kings if a team that has that was 7-5 or 8-5 last year doesn't fear you.
Yeah, true. All right, good conversation there. Let's move on to your takeaway, Zach. Go ahead.
Yes, Michigan showed me enough to believe that they should be favorites against the Sooners. Now, neither team played a great opponent. Oklahoma played Illinois State. Michigan played New Mexico. I think the score is a little misleading. If you actually look at the numbers, New Mexico couldn't run the ball. New Mexico had a gimmicky play for a touchdown. They got a turnover for a field goal. But if you look at what Michigan did on the ground, 32 carries, 201 yards, 6.3 carries. if you go over to the Illinois State Oklahoma box score, Oklahoma struggled a little bit with the run game. And that was with them not being able, Illinois State not being able to throw the ball at all. And so I think you have that. I do think Bryce Underwood looked better than anything that Michigan had last year at quarterback by a mile. By a mile, he was better.
Throwing lasers out there. I mean, his arm strength, the ball coming out of his hand, it looks so natural. It's amazing.
Yeah. And by the way, Marlon Klein, 6 catches, 93 yards for a touchdown. Had that beautiful touch pass over the one defender's head. I don't know if that was a great decision, but it was
against New Mexico.
Yeah, you got to get away with it. They won't be able to get away with that with Oklahoma. But I like, as much as Moneyline Mateer might look the part, they struggled to run the ball, and they had to rely on Mateer to beat Illinois State. And so I don't like the road environment, but I think Michigan has done enough to be the betting favorite right now against Oklahoma.
I mean, they're ranked in the top 25. I mean, the media has to have something very far off if Michigan is not favored or at least within 3 points of the spread in this game. On FanDuel right now, I just had it pulled up. I got to pull it back up. But on FanDuel right now, I think last time I checked it was like 6.5 or something. Let me check really fast. It is Michigan, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored by 5.5. So
I think that's wrong.
Well, if you look at the betting predictions like ESPN, FPI, Texas is still number one in that one. So,
well, I think that's wrong.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to see it in a big time game. I honestly don't know where I'm going to go with Michigan and Oklahoma at all, because I do think that Oklahoma has talent and they have the guys that they should be able to win at home. But as much as I did see some stuff that made me question Michigan a little bit against New Mexico, like I think the defense should not have allowed as much of what they allowed against New Mexico. They fumbled the kick return that one time. Like, Michigan has been so good with their special teams over the years. Mm-hmm. You can't have a guy back there returning kickoffs if he's going to be fumbling it like that. Now, obviously, Sharon Moore will make that adjustment. He's not going to let guys keep returning kicks if they're going to fumble. But to me, Michigan has the horses that they should beat Oklahoma. The biggest thing is on the road and a freshman quarterback. I believe in Bryce Underwood's talent, no doubt, but it's just what's that going to look like in a road environment?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think the thing that gives me confidence, if I'm a Michigan fan, which I'm so thankful I'm not, but if I were, John's comment, I think, is one of the things. Justice Haynes looks legit. Jordan Marshall looks legit. The run blocking looks legit. And that cures a lot of ills when you're making your first start on the road.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't get down early and, get behind and stuff like that, yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah. I mean, I can't say I disagree with you. What's Doug saying? Did I hear someone place a $550?
That is, I've heard that.
On Texas.
I've heard that. I believe that is true.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you did it with FanDuel, because not you, Doug. I know you didn't do it. That is insane if you did that. You got a problem. You got to call that gambling number. I forget what the number is.
I don't know, but
gambler, I think.
Yeah, please don't bet hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah, especially not with our picks. We are not confident enough in our picks for that.
Hey, wait, we nailed the under though.
Yeah, we did do a good job with that.
Yeah,
I still would not advise $550,000. So.
I wouldn't advise 5.
I was gonna say I wouldn't advise 50, but okay, you wouldn't advise 5. Okay.
Yeah, not at least not with our picks. No. All
right, well, mine kind of goes with yours. My takeaway number 2 is that Bryce Underwood and Malik Washington are already fringe top 5 QBs in the Big Ten. Is that an overreaction, Zach?
I'm trying to think who I would put above them.
So my top half QBs in the Big Ten I had listed here just based off of opening weekend. All right, so I'm not saying these are like for sure them. I'm just basing it off of opening weekend. And this is not in any particular order. Aller, Sayin, Dante Moore, Malik Washington, Bryce Underwood, Luke Altmaier, Jada Iamaleava, Dylan Raiola, and Demond Williams. Obviously,
no Drake
you were talking
Lindsay.
about freeze, what?
No Drake Lindsay on there.
I mean, he had a good game for a freshman, but he didn't. No.
The Minnesota fans, the ire of the Minnesota fans are coming for you.
That's fine. I like Drake Lindsay a lot. I think he's got a really big future.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see more from both of them, but I do think I'm good with top half. I don't know if I would say, well, and I mean, you say fringe top five. So
yeah, like they're in the
yeah.
conversation. Like if you're making a top 5 QBs list in the Big Ten, when you write down the names that you're going to consider, you're going to write down Malik Washington and Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And I think I'm more, I think I like Bryce Underwood more in terms of his future, but I think in terms of more impressive debut, I would have to go with Malik Washington because he just doesn't have what Underwood has around him.
Yeah, I mean, Washington did have the miscues. Like Bryce Underwood didn't get to 1 and 8, right? Like at one point, Malik Washington started the game 1 for 8 with his completions and stuff. So that's to me the biggest thing. Now he did respond to that, and to me, that was the biggest thing with both of these dudes is the way they responded. Right? You saw in that 2-minute drill in the second quarter, Bryce Underwood. I mean, he threw that dart over the middle. I forget to which receiver it was, but he threw that dart over the middle, and then he led his guys down there, and they scored. Malik Washington starts 1 for 8. What's he do in the second quarter? They scored 26 points in the second quarter in that one. Now, one of them was a return for a touchdown, right? I think it was. They had a return in the second quarter? Maybe.
Yes.
Or no, Indiana had a return.
Yeah,
Indiana had a return. But still, they scored 26 points in the second quarter there. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from these young freshman quarterbacks. Can't wait to see them in bigger games against bigger opponents because to me, they pass with flying colors against smaller opponents. So huge props to them.
Yep.
All right. Hey, do want to remind you, please do like and subscribe. Definitely helps out the channel here. And even if you're an SEC fan, you go ahead and subscribe. And you can come back whenever we trash the SEC and we're wrong. And you can let us know in the comments. So there you go. All right. Like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Zach, your takeaway number 2.
Yes. I think Minnesota has a chance to finish top 5 in the conference with 10 wins. I think people look at the score of Minnesota Buffalo on Thursday night, and they think, oh, it's just like all the other Big Ten teams against MAC teams. They're mediocre. They're not very good. And I'm here to tell you that score is misleading. It should have been way worse, but because of miscues, which they do have to clean up, they have to clean up the red zone miscues, like a ton of it. But I think Drake Lindsay he is going to be a top half of the conference quarterback when it's all said and done this year. I loved what I saw out of him. I think they've got playmakers. Their receivers were better than I expected. Darius Taylor, I think, is a top 5 running back in the conference. Really, really good. Defense, I think, was flying around. Coy Parrish is an excellent chess piece. And their schedule is manageable. So I think Ohio State's probably a loss, right? That's probably one of I wouldn't say guaranteed loss, but most likely a loss. I was just looking at their schedule before, but I think you have that. Obviously, they have at Cal. That's a tough game, but they play Rutgers. They play Purdue. They play Nebraska, which I think Minnesota can beat Nebraska. I think they can beat Iowa. I think they can beat Michigan State, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. It would just be at Oregon and at Ohio State where I'm like, I don't think they win those games. All those other games they can win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overreact to Minnesota too much. I liked what we saw from them, but I primarily liked what we saw from them because they're a young team, and I think that they showed that their young players are not going to like make those young player mistakes in every situation. Let's see what happens against Cal. Let's see what happens against some of these bigger teams. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that 10 wins is probably a little bit too far out of range for Minnesota in my mind, personally. I'm not being a Minnesota hater here. I think 9 wins is within range, but 10 wins, I'm just not super sold on that yet. I really like my pick of 8 wins after seeing them against Buffalo. I feel confident in that. I don't think they get under 7 wins. And, PJ Fleck, once again, PJ Fleck goes over their win total because Vegas just does not know how to make win totals for PJ Fleck.
Right. Yeah, I would if I were to put if you would put a percentage, because I would probably put a percentage at about 25%. That they could get to 10 wins. What percent would you put it at?
10.
10%. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. It's not a great chance, but there's a chance.
But there's a chance. And my point in saying this is not this is not me planting my flag saying they're going to get 10 wins. This is me saying if you asked me before the season, I would have said 0. Like there's no shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a shot to do it. Now, I think your point about youth is legitimate, and I think that's going to be a big issue. But they are talented enough, and they're better than I expected.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They definitely impressed and showed that anybody that had him at 5-6 wins, is just completely incorrect.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Take away number 3 for me. Zach, the Iowa fans will come back in here and not like us, and that's okay. I defended Iowa, but I'm also going to speak when Iowa is not great. And actually, I'm confident in Iowa. I'm not confident in Mark Gronowski. In fact, I am more confident in Aiden Childs to be better than Mark Gronowski this year. And I liked what I saw from Aiden Childs for the most part. He had those 2 fumbles, so did not like that, obviously. But very good first half for Aiden Childs. He was slinging that ball all over the field, has good wide receivers, was running around, eluding pressure. Well, I liked what I saw from Aiden Childs in this one. Mark Gronowski, I mean, some of those throws, like I know the one to the end zone, he was just kind of like, he was like, oh, it came off my hand wrong. But then he had the lob that was way over, the running back. I mean, just throws all over the place that were just kind of everywhere, and he was running, escaping the pocket way too early at times. I mean, listen, if this was even a MAC team, I probably wouldn't be as hard on him, But this was another FCS team. This wasn't a team that Mark Gronowski should have struggled against at all. But he did. He had 44 passing yards in the game, I think it was.
Oh, it's terrible.
It was not a good game at all for Mark Gronowski. At first, I put Drake Lindsay on here, and I was like, no, that's too obvious. Zach's just going to be like, no, you're completely right. I got to put somebody on here that's maybe a little bit closer. So sorry, Aiden Childs. I'm not trying to be too down on you here, but yeah. I think it just kind of speaks from Aiden Childs what he was last year and what the hope of Mark Gronowski was this year. Can he prove me wrong? Absolutely, sure. We don't ever want to overreact too much to week 1, but from what I saw in week 1, I'm more confident in Childs than I am Gronowski.
So I think the problem here is that it's obvious that Aiden Childs we should be more confident in. Like,
that's obvious to you?
Yeah. Because
even after last year with all the interceptions and everything?
Gronowski went 8 of 15 for 44 yards against Albany, which is one of the worst FCS schools.
He had a passing touchdown.
He averaged 2.9 yards an attempt.
Okay. You're not wrong.
QBR was 24.4 against Albany. Like this is why I get frustrated with Iowa fans. Cuz we've been saying all summer, like, and I was saying it all summer, like, I don't trust Iowa's offense. I don't care that they got this guy that they think is great.
I want to push back on that for a second though. I do trust Iowa's offense. I do trust Tim Lester. I don't trust Mark Gronowski. That offense was running pretty well. Blocking up front was good. They had receivers running open.
And that's fair. I'll concede that point. But when it comes to passing game, which I've been saying, Gronowski, but Ferentz, again, I think Lester has more. He has more control. He's more say. But like, when is the last time Ferentz has had a good quarterback? When's the last time he's developed a quarterback?
2018, 2019. I think it was the last time.
It's continually held Iowa back. And so this might be a hot take off of your reaction, is that I am more confident in any quarterback not named Preston Stone in the Big Ten over an Iowa quarterback until they prove it otherwise.
Wow.
Like, because even Nico, I'm like, who had a terrible game and is in a terrible situation.
That wasn't all Nico's fault, though. Nico was throwing darts at times. Those receivers were not helping him.
Right.
Okay, let's just go through them really fast, okay? So obviously not Preston Stone. Athan Kaliakmanis, you're more confident in him.
Yes.
Drake Lindsay, yes. Dylan Raiola, yes. Danny O'Neal? I guess Billy Edwards Jr.
Yeah, if it's Billy Edwards, then yes. If it's Danny O'Neal, I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, we just said Childs, Altmaier, obviously, Washington, obviously, saying yes. Ryan Brown?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Preston Stone.
Yeah. Now, Brown can. Like,
he's got some scoot. He's got some scoot to him.
Yeah, I mean, well, and Purdue let Purdue play somebody, like, right, and I might change my mind.
We got to give the Boilers their credit, though.
It's true.
31-0. Boiler up, bro. Boiler up.
It's true. And again, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about offense in totality. I'm saying quarterbacking and passing game. Like,
okay,
that's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible take. Based off how he played week one, we'll see. You know, this is not forever, but based off how Gronowski played week one, yeah, I mean, the only ones that played significantly that you could really say you trust Gronowski more than is Preston Stone and Danny O'Neal. But Danny O'Neal's not even the starter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Like we said, just based off week one, we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah.
But.
And if Gronowski shuts me up, I would love it. I've said it for months now. I want Iowa to shut me up, but they can't.
Well, but watch Iowa still win 8 games this season.
And that's fine. That's fine. But don't they want more than that?
Yes, they do.
That's my frustration. It's like, well, we won 8 games, but don't you want 10 or 11? Come on. Sorry, I get heated because I get a bunch of crap from Iowa fans about this. And I'm like, your quarterback just threw for 44 yards against freaking Albany. Yeah. What are we doing?
I think Iowa fans would tell you they're content with winning 8 games every season, though, as long as they beat their rivals.
Okay. At some point, your rivals are going to beat you with this.
Yeah. All right. Good conversation there. Zach, your takeaway number 3.
Sorry, I'm like heated, man. I'm like.
Hey, it's the hot takes. We got the hot takes going.
Well, yeah. Is it? I think USC is a top 25 team, but Washington is not yet. I was, USC played Missouri State, not great, but like not a terrible FCS team. And they put 73 on them. Iamaleava played really well. Receivers played well. I thought the defense looked good against an overmatched team. But I think they have the talent to be a top 25 team. I have questions about Washington. I thought. Sorry, go ahead. I was
going to say, my only pushback to that is, did you see Kansas State play?
Well, I don't think they're a top 25 team either.
That's what I was going to say. At a certain point, though, like, we do have to look at who are these top 25 teams and see some of the struggles they have and be like, okay, yes, Colorado State was in that game for far too long with Washington. I get that. But like, Washington's star players are still their star players. Like, once the rest of the team catches up with these star players, and they don't have to be equal with them, obviously, but yeah. Denzel Boston is crazy. Damon Williams made some amazing throws, and he did a really good job back there. He had a few miscues here and there, obviously, but I was really impressed with Damon Williams in the game. Jonah Coleman looked like one of the best running backs in all of college football in that
Coleman's
game.
A stud.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think Washington, and we've been on this train, they can be. With Kansas State, I do think you have to remember they're coming off of the Ireland game. So like, give it another week or two and see what Kansas State looks like. That's my
Did
only.
Iowa State look okay though? Or were
Yeah,
they bad too?
they weren't bad, but I mean I don't know. I can't just say they both played FCS teams, but I think North Dakota is a pretty good
I
FCS team.
say Indiana. Iowa State won 55-7.
Okay, maybe don't listen to me on that.
I'm not trying to like discredit you or anything. I just I kind of hate those excuses, right? It's like, oh well, we played really far away. Well, you signed up for it, so
Well,
have your guys ready for it, Chris Kleiman.
I just wouldn't sign up for it, but that's just me.
Well, yeah, that's probably the best idea.
Yeah, yeah. Don't go to Germany, Michigan. My gosh. But
Well, Sharon Moore's not going, so don't worry.
no comment. I agree with you about the playmakers, but with Washington here, what was Washington's problem a year ago? It was coaching, discipline, crucial mistakes at crucial times. Yeah. I am still concerned about that, and that's why I'm like, I think USC showed for sure that they're a top 25 team. I think Washington has the makings of a top 25 team, but I don't think they're there yet.
Yeah.
That's my hot take. I'm okay with pushback, but that's why
I think my biggest thing is I agree with USC wholeheartedly. I just look at some of the top 25 teams. I look at Kansas State. I look at Boise State. Arizona State at number 11 should not have been that close with Arizona or Northern Arizona. I think it was. They played. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Arizona State shouldn't be ranked, but, you know, you have a team struggle like that and they're in the top 25. I think it's okay if Washington struggles because their top tier talent is just so good that I'd put them in there. But I see what you're saying. Don't struggle against Colorado State. You won't have to worry about it. All right. Hey, do you want to remind you? So we do not have a segment 2 tonight. So after this segment, we're going to be done, and then Zach and I are going to record our top 25 and updated college football playoff predictions on Monday night, and you guys will get that on Tuesday morning on YouTube, and then Tuesday morning on the podcast as well. I'll set it as a premiere on YouTube, and then obviously I'll set it as the normal time or whatever on podcasts. So just want to give you guys a heads up there because we do have games this Sunday night, and we do have a Monday night game as well with North Carolina and TCU.
Do you think there's going to be a number? Ohio State's going to be number 1?
They better.
I mean, in our polls.
Well, yeah, I already put out my top 25.
Oh, did you?
My top 5.
Your top? Oh, yes, you did. You did.
Yeah, I had Ohio State, LSU, Texas, or no, I had Ohio State, Texas, LSU, Penn State, and Oregon.
Okay.
But whoever wins this Miami Notre Dame game will be number 5
instead of Oregon.
Most likely, unless it's just terrible play down the stretch. But I'm watching it right now, and Miami looks really good.
Yeah, I think
Carson Beck is not playing like Carson Beck last year.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted. I have to take back all my Carson Beck.
Well, you don't have to take it all back yet. We'll see what happens at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But all right, number 2, number 4. Sorry, number 4 for me. Adam Schefter lied. Adam Schefter is a liar because Dante Moore is a freaking dude. Holy cow. I know it was an FCS opponent, don't get me wrong, but the way he was slinging that ball all over the field, I mean, he was finding his playmakers. He was hitting them in stride. I loved what I saw from Dante Moore. He's a dude. I don't know if we have all that much to talk about here, but I just want to make sure I corrected my wrong of believing in Adam Schefter because Dante Moore is awesome, and he played a really good game on Saturday. So congrats to you, Dante Moore. I apologize for listening to Adam Schefter. I should not have.
Always listen to the players and what they say.
And that DeCorian Moore hurdle. Did you see that hurdle from DeCorian Moore?
I did not.
Oh, you got to look that up. That was sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Oregon's going to be good again this year. Tez Johnson at the combine was talking about how good Dante Moore is. And so when that came out, I did back off a little bit too, but I'm like, man, it's similar with Julian saying, like,
well, it's just so weird they never named him. It's like, if you got your dude, just name him, you know? Like, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's Dante Moore. He's the starter. He's good.
Sweet. All right, number 4 for you.
Penn State's wide receivers have upgraded the offense, and they have all they need to win a title. I know it's Nevada, but Trevor Pena is just so much better than what they had a year ago. He's so smooth. Just his route running is just, it's immaculate. I just thought he was excellent.
There's your vocab word of the day, everybody. Make sure you
immaculate.
Use
yeah. Kyron Hudson, I thought made some really good, some nifty catches. Had the one touchdown. But I think what I appreciate is I feel like they have more reliable weapons. And so while they were Tyler Warren was a very good option for them a year ago, but he was one and everyone else wasn't as good. Now I know part of that was some of the struggle was on Drew Aller. And that's why I'm saying they have all they need to win a title. I am not saying that they will, because I still think what this means is that it really hinges on the shoulders of Drew Aller and James Franklin. It is not about the playmakers anymore.
Well, and it looks like Drew Aller trusts his players around him more. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously always trusted Nick Singleton. He trusted Tyler Warren and Katron Allen. But the receivers that he's throwing to, you can tell the ball is coming, with more confidence, and it's coming with more, I don't want to say zip because that sounds like he wasn't throwing hard, but it's coming with more confidence to those guys. And I think that makes a huge difference when you have confidence in the guys that you're throwing to. And I think that was on display. Now, it was only against Nevada, but I think Penn State's a pretty obviously, proven team with their talent. So I feel very good about them. I don't think they'll be leaving my top 4 anytime soon unless they lose to Oregon.
Yep. Agreed.
So Tyler says, but Zach, JR, how much of that was competition that Penn State was facing? No disrespect to Nevada, but no Ohio State. Yeah, and that's what, like I said, pointed it out. I just, I think competition doesn't always go with confidence, right? Like, even if you don't have great competition, you can still not have confidence in your guys. I'm not seeing Drew Aller throw with confidence to some of these receivers in his time at Penn State like he did yesterday, and I think that's a huge deal. But like I said, we got to see it in a big game first.
Yeah, I did think his mechanics looked cleaner in this game too. Like you go back and look at some of the playoff games, like he's throwing a lot off his back foot. Thought he was a little bit more clean. But I think to Tyler's point too, it's just seeing them get in and out of breaks and how smooth they're running routes. Like it looks cleaner. And that's true regardless of who you play, right? Like what do your reps look like? What do your routes look like? I saw them play, against Kent State last year, and Kent State's terrible, but they got open because of pure like speed, not because of their route running necessarily. And that's not to say that they were all bad, but I just think they are better.
Yeah, no, I think the only, obviously there's other big things with playing another team, but when you talk about route running and stuff like that, the physicality of the other team is also a difference maker. Penn State was a way overmatched team for Nevada. Bigger, faster, stronger, all those things. You face a team of equal or greater physicality than you. Let's see what that looks like then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. They're not Ohio State like level receivers. They're not Clemson level. They're not LSU.
No, but they're
level.
An improvement.
But
they're definitely an
improvement. They can win a title with them.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that wasn't even Devontae Ross. We'll see him perk up here soon too.
Yep.
All right. My last takeaway. Sorry, UCLA fans. I know you listen to this channel, and I do not try to come for you, but
that was bad.
Nico Iamaleava will not finish the season playing in games for UCLA, meaning something will happen to him, transfer portal, quit the team. I think something will happen, mysterious injury that pops up or something like that. I think something will happen with Nico Iamaleava, and he will not end the season playing for UCLA this year. Is that too hot of a take, Zach?
I really want you to be wrong, but I don't think you are.
My thinking is like let's say they were telling the truth, right? I don't think they were, but let's say they were telling the truth that it was the wide receivers and it was the game planning and all that stuff that made him leave Tennessee. You really seeing better wide receivers
No,
at
this
UCLA right now? Are you really? I mean, Tino Sinceri, don't get me wrong, he's doing a good job. He was scheming up some things pretty well against Utah, but it was not being executed at the level that it was at Tennessee last year.
No. Well, anybody who thought that the talent disparity was minimal between Tennessee and UCLA just is out of their minds. Like, we knew that, everybody knew that. And so I still think Nico left Tennessee because there was some breach of trust between him and Heupel and something. And I'm not going to speculate on it. I'm not going to speculate on, I know some of it probably had to do with NIL, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But the reality is, I don't know how, if that was your posture before, how do you go through week one and think he's going to stay? I mean, even just for his own health and safety. I mean, he is, it's not looking good. And so I can't disagree with you.
Yeah. I mean, my hope is that Utah is just a way better team than some people think, and they're just going to like run away with the Big 12 this year. And maybe it was just a fluke first game for UCLA, and they'll get on top of it. Now they did improve much more over the season last year after the first game. You know, they played that first game at Hawaii, and they improved, they got better, and they continued battling. So that's my hope, is that Deshaun Foster continues to get the buy-in. They continue battling. I don't want this takeaway to happen. I don't want this prediction to happen.
I don't either.
But,
I don't.
You know, we would be lying if we didn't say it was a possibility.
Yeah. I think if Nico leaves, I think Deshaun Foster's fired. Like, I think the Foster experiment's over.
Maybe. I can also see Foster getting credit, though, because it's like, well, bad apple. You know, like, give me one more year with. But
he recruited him. Like, he let him into his program. Like, I think unless if Foster turns it around this season, I think it's a darned if you do, darned if you don't situation.
How many wins for Foster?
5.
5 last year.
5 or 6. I honestly, I think bowl. Like, I think you got to get a bowl, and that's going to be really tough.
They got the talent to get to a bowl. I mean, this is not an untalented team.
Right. Well, and when we did our projections, I don't think we were saying we think that UCLA isn't talented. I think we're saying we are concerned about a lot of positions, but B, can Foster be a head coach? And like, can Nico learn the system and execute? And like, all those questions we had came up last night.
Yeah. We'll see with UCLA. I honestly am rooting for UCLA. I got a UCLA shirt. Okay, I have to root for UCLA. So now it's a basketball shirt. But I listen to every single UCLA basketball press conference because I just love me some Mick Cronin.
There you go. Watch them beat Ohio State. Be like, just out of nowhere. That would be like.
My brother is going to the UCLA Ohio State game, he said, and I said, hey, that might be the only night game of the season. And he said, crap. He said, I don't want to stay up until 11 o'clock watching a football game. I was like, I think you're the only Ohio State fan that says night game and oh crap, because it seems like every other Ohio State fan in the world hates it.
Yeah. There is a blessing to noon games, by the way, and it's that you can watch the rest of college football that day without any.
It was way more fun watching college football knowing that your team wins. Yeah. So, Philip says time for a live basketball podcast. I'm working on that, Philip. Don't get it twisted. I am working on that, and I've heard from some of the podcast listeners. They want the basketball content back as well. So, podcast listeners, I hear from you. I've gotten your emails, and I appreciate it. We'll bring basketball back soon. Don't worry.
Boom.
Don't worry. All right. Speaking of podcasts, listen on podcast, 5-star review. If you're listening on podcast, we appreciate you doing that. Helps us out. You don't have to write a review. Just do the 5 stars. It's super easy. Go to the page, 5 stars, super easy. All right, Zach, your final takeaway. This one goes out to all the Boiler fans, Doug and Angie, who listen faithfully. I think I've seen their comments enough to know it's at least semi-faithfully, and they are Purdue fans. God bless you, Doug and Angie. Zach, what's your takeaway?
Purdue will not finish as the worst team in the Big Ten. That will be Northwestern or possibly UCLA. Listen, I know it was just Ball State.
Boiler up.
But they shut somebody out, and they had competent quarterback play against a living, breathing group of 11 men.
My only pushback.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Hudson Card last season set, or at least tied, an NCAA record in their first game of the season that they won 45-0.
Did you see Preston Stone?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately,
I mean, and I feel like I've got to be honest, because as great as my Florida State over Alabama pick was, I picked Northwestern to go to a bowl game this year.
Yeah.
How stupid do I look?
Yeah.
Like what was I thinking?
Zach Lujan's losing his job.
Yeah, he should have been fired at halftime, man.
Yeah, that was not good.
No.
4 interceptions. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's like, well, no wonder why Kevin Jennings was the starter at SMU. Goodness. Like, and we saw what he did against Penn State. Eek. Yeah, it's not good. So I obviously, do I think Purdue could still tank and like go 1-11, 2-10? Sure. But at this point, I think if you look at talent accumulation, I think it's very possible that Northwestern ends up with a worse record and ends up being in like either similar to Purdue, or I think Purdue might get a couple of extra wins that we don't see. And Purdue's like 3-9, 4-8. Northwestern's like 1-11 or 2-10.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh boy. Well, Purdue, please don't finish last. I want to believe in you this season. I want Barry Odom to be good. I do not want you to be another MAC level team. Northwestern, please don't turn into a MAC level team.
They did. So Purdue last year, I will say this, Purdue, who did they beat last year? I feel like they beat an FCS team. This year they beat a MAC.
Yeah. Indiana State.
Yeah, they beat a MAC team this year. That's improvement. They actually beat a MAC team. So like,
did they play a MAC?
And
team?
it wasn't Kent State.
You know who plays Kent State this week?
I don't. Believe it or not. Oh gosh.
You know what the spread is on that game?
Like 80?
No, not quite that. The spread on FanDuel for Kent State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is favored by 48.5.
Yeah, they're gonna cover. It's gonna be bad.
That is Ohio State is favored. Oh shoot, they don't have their line out for Ohio State Grambling yet.
I don't think they'll have it out till much later because they're FCS. But I mean, so John, you make a good point. Ball State is always terrible. I don't disagree. We're talking about like measurable progress though. Like Indiana State, I'm just looking up Sagarin right now. Indiana State, let's see, how bad are they? That should be a segment on our show, is how bad is this team?
I'm pretty sure they're like around 200 last time I looked.
Yeah.
Or no, that was SP Plus. I don't know about Sagarin.
In Sagarin, they're 219. So Ball State, let's just look up. Where's Ball State? Watch them be worse.
Indiana State is above Kent State.
Oh, they are. They are. It's.
Gosh, poor Penn State.
Although Merrimack was also ahead of Kent State, and Kent State beat them. So, they're moving up in the world. Let's see.
Well, while you look for that, I'll answer this comment. Greg says the Rutgers defense looked like Swiss cheese after Schiano hypes them up. Yeah, I mean, that's why I put them in my concerning category. It's because it doesn't seem like Schiano knows what team he has this season, and that was my biggest concern with the offense, was that Schiano would not utilize this team correctly with using the passing game and getting out in front of teams and continuing to pour the lead on. Greg Schiano needs to go have breakfast with Lincoln Riley or something, and I imagine that would be like the Matthew McConaughey breakfast with the one dude and the broker, where he's just like, you have to score 70 plus every game. And Schiano would be like, what? Yeah. I don't understand. He's like, you can do it. Score 70 points every game.
Ball State is a cool 176 in Sagarin. Oh. So, not good, but better than Indiana State by about 40 spots.
Oh. Where's Kent State?
They haven't adjusted the records yet.
Oh, okay. So we're still waiting.
Yeah, but
Kent State, they should move up.
Right, they will. And so Kent State's 257. Merrimack, who they beat. Let's see. This is where we really get in the weeds. Merrimack was 224.
Oh, so
they beat someone better than them, supposedly.
Kent State is getting better as well, you say. Troy's saying no Merrimack slander will.
This is not slander. We're just stating a computer model that we slightly agree with more than FPI.
I was telling my parents that Kent State beat Merrimack, and my mom said, "Merry Christmas, who?" I said, "No, Merrimack is a college." All right, we better end it here. We've gone over an hour, so good episode, Zach. Fun to talk through the takeaways, overreactions. We're going to continue to probably do stuff like this in the in the out of conference, just because there's so many games. We won't probably go through and recap game by game. I'll try to come on Saturdays. I was busy this Saturday because I was at my parents' house, so I didn't get the chance to. But I'll try it on Saturdays to do a few game recaps here and there. Like I said, Fridays. After games, I'm going to try to come on and do kind of a recap of those if I can. So just anytime Big Ten football games are over, just be on the lookout for this channel, because we're probably going live most times, if not all the time, after Big Ten football games are over. So whether it's just me by myself or Zach or whatever, this Saturday we'll probably go live after the final Big Ten game. Well, probably at the start of the Washington UC Davis game for power rankings, because if we're being honest, I don't think that one will impact the power rankings all that much.
I don't think so. Yeah. That I feel like 11 o'clock Eastern games need to just die. But
especially against FCS opponents. I didn't mind the UCLA Utah one, because it was okay, you're playing at home against a good opponent. But against FCS opponents, yeah, not my favorite.
Yeah. Nope.
So, all right, Zach, any final thoughts?
At some point we will need to address this thought. Not tonight, but I thought, I don't know if I would say Mendoza wasn't good, but there are certainly some concerns. Indiana was not in my top half of my power rankings.
Yeah, I thought you were crazy for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned. I'm not too. He overthrew players a little bit. He was a little bit overexcited. There was also some drops. He had a big pass for 50-some yards that if it was brought in, his stats would have looked a lot better. Yeah. I'm not too concerned about Fernando Mendoza. Is he going to be the number 1 overall pick? No, that's not going to happen. Is he still going to be very good? I think he will be good, if not very good. But it's also his first game. Yeah. New receivers, everything else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Indiana has a chance to get back in my top half very, very easily. They'll play Big Ten teams, and then.
Well, if they beat Illinois, they'll be in your top half for sure.
Oh yeah, they'll be in probably top 5, top 6 at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. We will see you on Tuesday night. We'll have the podcast posted on YouTube and podcast on Tuesday morning. And then you'll see us back here Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. We appreciate it. Have a good one. See you later.